I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour, proudly powered by our friends at Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley with you now, and we've got a great show for you today, talking wrestling with a couple of the area's best. And when we talk wrestling on YSN, there's only one guy that we bring in, the future face, whether it's good or bad, of the YSN wrestling coverage. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you now to senior at South Range High School, soon to be freshman at Youngstown State University, and just a regular on YSN at this point, Chris Colucci. What's up, Fur?
What's up? How's it going?
Not too bad, man. A lot of wrestling talk today, and I know that you're doing kind of your backlogging and trying to get ready for next year, believe it or not. Even though this season just ended, you had a successful run, but you're going to be bringing on all kinds of guests and talking about wrestling and taking that wrestling stage to that next level. We're excited for that. I know you've got someone that's right now in the backstage who's been close and near and dear to your heart. What are your what are your plans for wrestling and putting it on the main stage here on your sports network?
So after my wrestling season ended, I was wondering, I wanted to go wrestle in college, but it just wasn't for me. And I was wondering how I could grow the sport. And I just love being a part of YSN, and you guys need more coverage in wrestling and YSN. So me and you had a good conversation down in Myrtle about doing more with wrestling and YSN. And I just want to grow the sport, and this is a great way to grow it. And people have a lot to look forward to when it comes to wrestling next season. I'm very excited to see what I can do with this, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Now, I love the fact that you're going to be focusing on wrestling, but you're kind of out of your comfort zone right now as the voice of the South Range Raider baseball team. But you've done an unbelievable job in not only learning, but just bringing your own voice and your own character to it. Today, we get to talk to Braden Stallworth of Crestview, someone you've known for a very long time. You guys have never wrestled each other. You've kind of crossed paths and obviously shared some excitement in the sport. What kind of things are you hoping to hear from Braden today?
Why he picked BW, where he's going to college. Some of his favorite memories, just why he loves the sport. Just ask him questions and see what he has to say. This is the first interview, I think. My first interview when asking somebody about wrestling, so I'm very excited about that. But just seeing how this goes, and hope to get more wrestlers on interviews. So that'll be fun.
Well, welcome to the other side of the microphone, my friend. Without further ado, we head on over to the Toyota of Warren hotline, and we bring in the one, the only, the Crestview Rebel, Braden Stallworth. My friend, Braden, how are you, dude?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Anytime. Always welcome on the show. We had a chance to talk to Fur, and you guys obviously have a lot of the same interests. One of them, the biggest one, being wrestling. So let's get it kick-started, Braden. I mean, we're going to announce, Chris kind of already laid that out there, where you're going to go to college. But, why is wrestling so important to you, and how has it changed your life for the better all these years?
I mean, just the coaches and the friends, everyone, it just became a lifestyle. And I love working out, and everything just, the pieces connected, and it clicked for me. I'm the first one in the family to do it, and I love it, so.
All right, Fur, you already rolled out the first question. Why BW? Go ahead, take it from here.
Yeah, why'd you pick BW?
I mean, as soon as I got there, I just knew it was the right choice. I mean, the atmosphere, the coaches, the people, it was great. So
Baldwin Wallace, a great university, a great secondary institution. Did you always want to wrestle at the next level? Was that always kind of in the back of your mind, or is it something that just kind of presented itself as you became evident as one of the area's top wrestlers?
I mean, it just kind of happened. It was weird. I mean, like 2 years ago, I was wrestling, and then I just got better. Went to camps for a year, and now I realized I just want to continue, keep going.
For anything?
So I was talking to some BW coaches. I really like their coaching staff, and especially Coach Monk. He was really good with recruiting. Talk about like with the coaches, like how they helped you with this process.
I mean, they told me like they're one of the top teams for a reason. They just told me what they did for like workouts during the week. Like they go swimming, like they're outside. Like it just sounds like an adventure. It sounds fun. Like it's not just wrestling. Like they're a family. So.
When you talk about wrestling, it's a sport that hasn't been kind of in the mainstream for very long. In fact, it's still looked as kind of a sport that is in the shadows of basketball during the winter. How do you consistently get kind of traction in that sport of getting people to your matches, getting people that understand how truly big it is? Outside of just this area, Braden, have you had to do some self-promotion from that standpoint, or, do coaches just kind of click to you?
The coaches, they just kind of clicked to me. Wrestling, like it's just small, like you said. So my mom, like just family, that's all that matters to me. That's there is my family. So.
You talk about family. That family, I know at Crestview is a very big wrestling family, and it's not just good enough to show up and be there. You have to be able to win these matches, that win these meets. So, going into it, your freshman year, what were your expectations of being a Rebel grappler along the way?
I mean, my freshman year, I just wanted to have fun. I mean, we were all kind of new to it, so it was just interesting. We used to have a lot of kids wrestle in middle school, and they kind of died off, but it was fun. It was just an experience being young.
I know we talked about before the show, one of the things that you're going to be a student athlete at the next level, and you get to kind of take a focus or a major or a minor and things of that nature. I know you're undecided at this point, but what kind of things do you ultimately want to do? I mean, BW is a great place and has a ton of majors and a ton of opportunities. What kind of things are you looking to do that maybe influence your decision on a major or a minor?
I think to influence me, I'm going to talk to the guys there, see what they're doing, just see if they like it. But if not, I've always thought about being like a nutritionist because I'm real big on health. So I just thought that'd be really cool. But, yeah.
I'm a shocked human being to hear you say that you're a wrestler and you guys are into health a little bit. I know that you count every ounce, every single pound that you shed, all that stuff. From your aspect, Braden, I mean, when you looked to going to the next level to wrestle, what were some of the things that you didn't necessarily look for that you kind of stumbled upon? I mean, everybody has these ambitious goals. They want to go D1, they want to go D2, D3, whatever it may be, right? But what was important to you along the way? Was it the distance from home? Was it, staying here, going to somewhere where you had a familiar face? What kind of things fell into that boat of being important in your decision to ultimately go to college?
I mean, the big decision was just getting out of the way. Like I wanted to go meet some new people and not stay close to home. Just like I like traveling, so I figured going out would be the factor. So going an hour and a half away really helped.
Fur, you got anything else on the wrestling side of things?
Yeah. So back in high school, what were some of your favorite tournaments to wrestle in?
Probably EOWL, of course. I mean, it's a big tournament, and the duel between us, South Range and Crestview.
That's always a fun duel, seeing familiar faces and friends. What was your favorite move to use in high school?
Probably the fireman's carry.
All right.
I beat Hunter with it
right now.
Huh?
DJ's confused, but
the John Cena move.
Yeah, they're kind of on the shoulders there. So.
I see, Fur. I told you, I got it. Did you ever give anybody an attitude adjustment from the fireman's carry?
No, I haven't. No.
Take out a steel chair and
I'm just saying, you might want to put that in your repertoire at the next level. It's worked pretty well for John Cena along those ways.
DJ, you talked a little bit about the Crestview, like the home and the love that has, but like Brain, to you, what's it mean to wrestle for Crestview, and what's it mean to you also to wrestle on their gym floor for a home duel?
I mean, it's exciting to wrestle for Crestview. Just being a small school and not having that many wrestlers, like, it means a lot because we're representing the team. So
I think I can ask you both this question. You guys are really starting to brush up against the graduation date. What are some of the things you think you're most looking forward to in graduation, and what are some of the things that maybe you're nervous about? Braden, we'll start with you.
I mean, I'm nervous because my environment's going to change for sure. So, like, right after graduation, I'm going to be a little bit lost at first, but I'm excited to just see where I go. That's all.
Fur?
Definitely just nervous for big, newer things, I guess. I don't like change that much. But I'm also excited to see, like, a new chapter is opening, and, like, I'm excited to see what I can do.
Fair enough. All right. So from our perspective, from the real world, since you guys aren't necessarily there yet, I want to hear, each of you have had your like a first job, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what was your first job? And we'll go from there. Braden, what was your first job?
My very first job, I don't even know if you count this, but it was like a summer job, and I was a bricklayer for like a month. So,
oh wow.
Yeah.
What was the best part of that job, and what was the worst part of that job?
Probably the lunch breaks were the best. The worst was making concrete in the sun.
Oh, in the wheelbarrows?
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough, man. That is tough work. Fur, what about you? What was your first job, and what was the best and worst part of it?
I was a flag football. I still am. I'm a flag football ref. The best part was probably reffing the good games, and the worst part were like the fans that had no clue what was going on, or the coaches making up their own rules and yelling at you. That was probably the worst because it just gets annoying. But
that's crazy. See, that's the funny part is well, you got a little taste of the officials, so maybe you treated the officials a little bit better during your football games and during your wrestling matches.
Yeah, like I know what they go through because I see that side of it, and like we talked about it down in Myrtle commentating when that one coach was flipping out to the ump, like that 50-50 call, the ump's not going to give it to you because you already built a bad relationship with him, and he's going to be not too happy with you.
What is Braden? What's the part of wrestling in high school that you're going to miss the most?
I'm gonna miss the fact that it's just like easier. Like I know the college level is more serious, of course, and I'm just gonna miss the fact of like messing around.
All right, from a standpoint, let's get off the mat. Let's get into some getting to know Braden Stallworth a little bit better. What is the go-to pre-match meal for Braden Stallworth?
I'm a big, I don't know, granola bar, probably just pickles so I don't cramp.
See, that's how it changes from sport to sport, because you get to football and they're eating like spaghetti and meatballs and garlic bread, and you're eating like a Nutri-Grain bar and pickles.
Yeah.
What's the post meet menu look like for you if you got to pick?
If I had to pick, probably Chinese.
Chinese? Oh, this is a slippery slope, man. First off, where do you get your Chinese food? Because that counts. And then secondly, what do you order?
I'm gonna have to go with like I just like the noodles, chicken and noodles. Can't tell you where because it could be a little embarrassing. Like sometimes I like going to the mall and just.
Oh wait, the place at the end, like right by the bathroom.
Yeah.
The place that gives out the free chicken?
Yeah, the free chicken, yes. Yeah.
What is that, Sarku Japan or something like that? I forget what that is. I respect that. It's still good. I like that place. What about you, Fur? Are you a Chinese guy? Do you like eating Chinese food?
You know my answer.
Well, I know, but that's not Chinese food, dude.
I'm not a fan.
Believe it or not. Fur just thinks because it starts with it ends with food. Like Chipotle counts for Chinese food. It's incredible. You're the only person also that would spend $38 worth of credit on a Chipotle burrito that I know. with your Chipotle points.
Yes.
Okay. What is, I mean, are you a go-to Gatorade guy? I know there's Primes out there now. Powerade. What is the go-to for you, Braden, when it comes to sports drinks?
Probably body armor. Big body armor guy.
We have a ton of body armor here.
Now, DJ, you asked him match snack. What's your pre-match song that you listen to?
Ooh.
I know I have a few songs that I listen to every time before a match. What's yours?
Maybe Family Ties, honestly. That's one of them, at least. So
yeah, before a tournament, would you ever like sit in a corner, collect your own thoughts, or were you just pacing back and forth, jamming to music? I know there's some guy, I've talked to some guys that just sit in a corner in a dark room, just sit there, close their eyes, listen to some music, calm down, relax. Or there's some guys that are just blaring music, walking, getting amped up. Like, what kind of person are you?
I like to be like hot and sweaty. Like I'm moving, so I'm always on the go, watching, looking around.
Yeah, that's, a lot of guys are like that. You want to get a sweat going before your match, so you're not real easy to grab.
Get all lathered up.
Yeah. What's your favorite memory of your whole entire going back to the mat? Sorry,
this is a good one.
Favorite memory all time wrestling. It could be youth, middle school, high school, all time. What's your favorite memory?
My favorite memory was probably my freshman year. At sectionals, I was seated 5th, and I took 3rd, and wrestled a South Range guy, of course, and it was a great experience. So,
is that why you asked that question? Just so you get the South Range plug for? Did you know going into it?
Okay, now we asked your favorite. What's your least favorite?
Ooh.
Probably this year in one of my matches, a little bickering back and forth, and I don't like that, so probably that.
What are some of the things from your aspect that you value most about spending time with your friends, your family?
Just creating memories. That's what I value, because you're not gonna always see them. They're not always gonna be there. So I just value everything all the time.
Do you have a favorite quote that you go by, or are you one of those guys like me that has a different quote every day?
I could be a different quote every day. Yeah. I don't know. It's not big on it.
For anything else before we let the champ go?
Yeah. One question off the mat. You're on a road trip. You can get 3 things from a gas station. What are you getting?
So I'm getting gummies, the cherry gummies, of course.
You got a 90 pack if you need them. Go ahead.
A body armor, of course. Gummies, and maybe a Frosty or something. Like you sit it in the machine and it goes up and blends it. Yeah.
I got one more question, DJ.
Take as much as you want, man. It's your show. Go.
Okay, Braden, you've been around you're a senior 4 years. Sorry if do you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my bad. I'm sorry. I'm getting text messages from my mom.
We're super professional on this show, by the way.
Okay, you've been around 4 years. Who are some of the kids, they don't have to be from Crestview, that, you became friends with, you've drilled with, like, who are some of your friends, like, that we could look forward to in the future, or even that is graduating this year?
In the future, Gabe Morgan, Beaver local junior. Caden Welker from South Range. He's a sophomore, so yeah. Beaver local, South Range, that's kind of the area.
Yep.
What are some of the things that you want to leave behind? What's the legacy that you ultimately want to leave, Braden, behind you? So, when people think about who you were during these 4 years of high school, they don't get it twisted.
I just want them to know that I've been through 4 different coaches throughout high school in my 4 years, and anything's possible. You can still make it work and just get to meet new people, and no change. Just no change.
All you for.
I'm out of questions.
He's out of questions. We got him. He emptied the chamber. I like it.
Hold on.
Last question for you, Braden. The one we always ask people that are on our shows and on YSN. Who are your role models and why?
Probably my family, of course. Big family guy. My mom, just being a single parent for a little bit is a big role model, showing that you can do it by yourself. So.
And who and what kind of people do you want looking up to you? I mean, from a role model perspective, you're a young man. You said it yourself. You're doing it, for the first time. A lot of this stuff is going to be kind of record breaking. What kind of people do you want looking up to you, and what do you want them to remember most about who you are and how you made it on your own?
For people that I want to remember me, just whoever wants to work hard or whoever wants to be better in anything they do, whether that's academic or athletically. Like, if you want to be better, that you should look up to me. Then I always want to be better.
I love it, man. Congratulations on your recent commitment. And as I understand it, you're signing officially on Friday. Is that correct?
Yeah, Friday. Yeah.
We'll have you on YSN naturally, and with the graphic. Congratulations, man. We've been a fan for a long time. Looking forward to seeing you do really big things at the next level. Appreciate you stopping by, and we will talk to you very soon, my friend.
All right. Thank you, guys.
There he goes. Braden Stallworth spending some time with us today. Chris, you're the one that lined it up for us, so I appreciate you making sure that happened and shedding more light on the sport. What a great young man and someone who going to take it to the next level. You and I will talk about when we come back from break about how challenging it is. And I guess, I'm going to kind of kidnap you here on the show for a little bit, if you don't mind, talking about there is a choice to be made at the next level. And some people make the choice that they're going to continue, and some people make the choice that they're not. And I guess talking to you about some of those decisions that you had to make are going to be for maybe some of the parents, some of the kids out there, some of the student athletes that they haven't thought about. So if you don't mind sticking around a little bit, you good?
Sure. Yep.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with more from Chris Colucci, and a special thank you from Braden Stallworth right after this on the Ysn Power Hour.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com.
Going from mindful to mindful sometimes requires a helping, healing hand. Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness offers a continuum of mental health and wellness care. At Insight, we're changing the way you receive counseling and wellness services with experienced licensed clinicians and expertly trained wellness staff. With 4 locations in Mahoning and Columbiana County, along with telehealth services, Insight offers clients quick access to care when they need it. Transform your mental health and wellness at Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness.
And welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour, brought to you by Toyota of Warren. Did you have a costume change? Do you have a wardrobe change?
Yeah, a little wardrobe malfunction.
You had a malfunction?
Yeah, some type. Water somehow got in my armpits.
Oh, just
I
somehow.
spilled it somehow. Don't know how that
Was
happened.
that the text from your mom? That's all I want to know. I could
No,
see your tit stains.
she was texting me about AJ or Braden's teammate AJ.
Yeah.
That won a tournament, and all of South Range people went crazy just because the love between South Range and Crestview's wrestling programs are just right there.
So certainly it's a respect, right, that you guys have for each other's programs, but it's something when you're just kind of miles apart that it is kind of like a brotherhood, a sisterhood, especially in programs like wrestling, where there's not a whole lot out there that's helping you guys get the name out. So we're looking to change that with Chris Colucci in the coming wrestling season, man. I'm excited for it. All right. One of the things we talked about before the break is there's it's stigma is not the right word. It's a natural expectation that every student athlete or the majority of student athletes are going to continue their athletic careers at the next level, especially if they're, they excel in a particular sport. You, my friend, excelled in football. You excelled obviously in wrestling as well, a 2-time state champion when it comes to those two things. And yet you're not going to wrestle. You're not going to play football at the next level. And you made a conscious decision to do so. I think that for most people, they're scratching their head and wondering why. But I think it comes down to each particular student in the case, per student athlete. Why do you think it's the expectations there? And are there pressures for student athletes nowadays to play or participate at the next level, even though maybe they're not fully committed to it?
100%. There's a big pressure there. A lot of kids feel the need that they need to go to the next level. And for some kids, it's just not that case. You don't need to go. And like, you could fall under the trap of, oh, you're not going to wrestle, or where are you going to go to school out to wrestle? Like, some kids just fall into that trap. And for me, I knew like I needed to focus on school. School was a lot more important. And when you add a sport into there, it's basically a full-time job. And as a student, I know I need to have as much time as I can to get the grades I need, or else I just won't be satisfied paying a lot of money to go to college. But I mean, it was a very hard decision. I had a lot of long talks with people, especially you, my parents, and it just wasn't the move for me. But a lot of kids, they want to excel, and if you could do it, go out there and do it 100%. If you love your sport a lot, you're going to love college athletics. But even what D1, D2, D3 doesn't matter. You're still legit. You're part of that 7% to go and play collegiately: football, wrestling, basketball, golf, baseball, volleyball, whatever. Like, go do it. If you love it and you know you want to do it so much, go do it.
What were some of the pressures that you felt? And obviously, some of this is going to be from your family. Some of this is going to be from your peers. Some of this is going to be from your coaches, the coaches at the next level. What kind of pressures are out there that potential student athletes at the next level that are going through this right now or will be going through this? What do they need to be prepared for?
Like, some kids may feel like that they're not as good. You know what I mean? Going into my junior year, I wasn't getting looked at all. And I just felt the pressure of like, maybe I'm not just that good. You know what I mean? You're that good. You need to go out. How I got my name out there is when I was texting coaches. And you just got to go through it. If you wrestle, if you play basketball good, if you play football good, if you wrestle good, people are going to get to know your name. And especially what we're doing here, we're going to try and get people's name out there with wrestling. And that's what we want to do. We want to expand this sport, and we want to get kids to the next level by getting their name out there. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of pressure that you could feel. And I certainly felt that pressure. My parents, I know they both wanted me to wrestle, but it just wasn't in my cards. And they respect my decision. And yeah.
What were some of the things that you looked at and you thought, yeah, I like this part of high school and I'm going to finish this, but I think this is where I'm going to call my number, and this is where I'm going to, kind of rest my boots at the high school level and not having to worry about the college level? Was it, was any of it injury? Was any of it, just, you already alluded to time and grades and things of that nature. What goes into a decision like that from a student athlete's perspective?
So one night I was sitting down, I'm like, I've done a lot with both sports. Winning state in football, winning state in wrestling, placing at state, qualifying for state. And then, an injury. I got knocked out in wrestling. I got a concussion. That really scared me to the point where I really questioned if I wanted to keep doing it. So the injury and just the fact of like I've done a lot in both sports, and this is just another way, more things I can do for football and wrestling, because I'm going to help with football season and just expand wrestling and do more with wrestling, and I'll still be involved. I hope later, a few years from now, coaching at a high school team, maybe my alma mater, but just wrestling. And
one of the coolest things I think that you and I had a conversation about when I think we were his last day in Myrtle Beach was for you got to kind of choose and go through all the feelings and the emotion of knowing in your head that this was your last football game. This was your last, wrestling match. What was it like? Not everybody gets that opportunity. Sometimes they're taken away from us from injury, from, grades, from just natural, can't do it anymore. What was it like for you to live that out and say, hey, this is my last football game was on the biggest stage that you could have in the state of Ohio. My last wrestling match really was to be placed in the top 8 of every single wrestler in the state of Ohio. What was that like for you? That had to be kind of a storybook ending for you.
Yeah. So I lost my last wrestling match ever, which, I mean, it's going to sting me forever. But going into, like, I was content with going into the state game. Like, I'm content with, this is my last game ever. I'm going to leave everything. A lot of the seniors were like that. And I was content with it. My decision was made, and my parents knew that. And I'm still content to this day with, I'm good. I'm done with high school sports. And it was weird. It was like, this is my last game ever. And I'm playing at Hall of Fame Stadium. And a college coach, I think Teal, their offensive coordinator, texted me, and I was like, Coach, sorry, but I played my last game in Canton, Ohio. And I thought that was really cool. But, and then wrestling, going into my last match, a 3rd and 4th place match. I beat the kid before. Doesn't mean a single thing in wrestling. I can tell you that right now. I don't care who you are. If you beat this kid, he's gonna figure you out. Their coaches are gonna get a game plan, and the second time's harder than the first, 100%, 10 times out of 10. And it went through my mind. Like, I beat this kid before. I mean, I could do the same stuff. Blah blah blah. Like, that went through my head for sure. And that's just, wrestling's such a mental battle. To beat that battle is mentally, and that's something I was good at. Obviously not my last match, but going into that match, I was like, this is my last match ever. Let's leave it all out on the line. What do I have to lose? And then I lost that match. If I had one more second, I got a takedown. It was like that. I looked at my dad, and I just started crying. And then I remember walking over to my dad and hugging him, and it's just a sad moment, but I'm still content with that was my last match. That's how it was supposed to end. And, everything happens for a reason.
There's nothing in the basement. I know you haven't seen Rocky Balboa, but there's nothing in the basement that's going to want you to come out of retirement and start a wrestling underground here locally in the 330.
I have the feeling that, like, I should text that coach. I'm done. This is my way of moving my career further. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing it, broadcasting it, picking matches of the week. And we're going to have a lot of fun with it. We talked a lot of big plans for YSN wrestling, and I don't really have bring the laces or bring the shoes out again. They're sitting in my mom's office right now, waiting to go in a box.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you should put those in, what do they, pewterize them or whatever it is, and make them like casts or whatever. It'd be cool to see just your wrestling boots and put for 100% certainty, that YSN hat, the disgusting YSN hat that you have on right now.
Walked multiple times.
Oh my gosh. like that is getting retired. We're getting you a new YSN hat, my friend. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You are getting a new one, size 35 head, like the one you have. So mom won't have to worry about that anymore. Look at that thing has been through hell and high water. It's incredible. And you're so proud of it. And I love it. We're talking to Chris Colucci about, everybody wants to play at the next level, but the expectations, I think, and you will never have to go through it, but I think you've been around enough student athletes to know that there is a giant change in mentality from the high school student athlete to the college student athlete. And it goes from being really fun, really exciting, and playing for your school and your community and the people that you know and love, to playing for a bunch of people and with a bunch of people that you've never met before a lot of times in your life. What are some of the things that your teammates or ex-teammates have told you about playing at the next level, and maybe some of the I don't know, the dirt, the scoop on why it isn't the same. I shouldn't say isn't as exciting. It's just never the same as playing in high school.
As much as it pains me to say this, some coaches just don't care. They're there for a job. You know what I mean? They're there to get a kid in the lineup that's going to keep them their job. That's what sucks, about college sports. But there's some coaches that love you to death and that'll do anything to go through hell and high water to get you to where you need to be. But there is that unfortunate event where some coaches just don't care.
I think what's neat and almost concerning is no matter where you're at, D3, D2, D1, JUCO, whatever it is, you're expected to treat it as your scholarship athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Like these coaches are not there because they're your math teacher, they're a science teacher, they're your gym teacher anymore. These coaches are there because they are the head coach or head manager of a particular program, and their expectations are they brought you in, whether you're again D3, D2, D1, JUCO, they brought you in to do a job and to help them do their job. In most student athletes, most parents just think that it's you're part of that 7% that goes on from high school to college, and you're playing, and you go from being a senior, which is one of the best years of your life, to a brand new ladder that you have to climb. And most people don't have the persistence and the patience to climb that ladder again and do it all over and start anew. Did that go through any of your minds, or do you know anybody that's gone through that and kind of looked at the other and went, I kind of wish I would have hung it up in high school, kind of went out on top?
I have one friend, he wrestled. It just wasn't for him. His grades started plummeting, and he had the pressure, and he wanted to sign somewhere, and it just wasn't for him. So he kind of wished he did hang it up in high school, and he's done wrestling now. But his grades weren't where they wanted to be. But then he hung it up, and he's almost an honor student now, where he's at school and what he's doing, and he loves it. So he loves school, and he's happy his decision he made.
Do you think it takes guts or courage to not play at the next level? I know that sounds weird to hear in a question like that, but do you think it takes guts and courage to be able to know when enough's enough and kind of know your strengths and weaknesses?
100%, because as every high school student athlete, you're wanting to get better at your sport, and getting better at your sport is getting to the next level. And for you to say, I'm done, it took a lot for me to be like, saying it. Kids have to feel like they have to do it, and that's just not the answer sometimes. And saying that you don't want to do it, it's totally all right. It's just not meant for you.
I feel fortunate because I always kind of knew what I wanted to do. I always knew that I was being put into a broadcast scenario or being in broadcast sports in some aspect or another. For you, you're kind of in that same boat. You know what you want to do. Is it crazy to ask an 18-year-old who doesn't, Braden said he doesn't have a major at this point. Is it crazy to ask an 18-year-old to know what they want to do for the rest of their life? Do you think that there's pressure with that as well?
No. Yes and no. Some kids know exactly what they want to do. Some kids have no idea what they want to do. Me, I knew what I wanted to do since first grade. I've wanted to be a police officer, especially specifically a canine handler.
Yeah.
Since I was very young. And there's some kids that still have no idea what they want to study, what they want to do with that degree, or even if they want to go to college, they want to go into a trade. So no, it's not crazy at all for a kid to know what they want to do after high school. I know a lot of my friends some friends are going into trades. A lot of friends are going to college. Some kids aren't even doing both and they're going straight into a family work. So like kids know what they want to do, but it's okay to not have a clue what you want to do.
I respect that. All right, we're going to go make things a little bit more fun now. I know we talked about you, some serious stuff. Dude, there's some big thing going on tomorrow night. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called the NFL Draft, and I know you're a pretty big football fan, and you and I picked the same team to follow, for better, for worse. Is this draft exciting to you at all on any particular stage? I mean, are you going to watch it in its entirety? Are you going to pick and choose spots? Like, what does this draft here tomorrow night mean to you?
So I'm going to watch tomorrow night. I mean, and then second, third, the rest of those, I'll like see whoever Pittsburgh takes. But I'm definitely curious to see what Pittsburgh can do. I've heard a lot of trade rumors, but they're going to trade up to 9 or trade up to 11. I know Omar Khan. They call him the con artist for a reason. We basically stole Allen Robinson from the Rams.
This is true.
And I'm not complaining. He's a vet. He can get George Pickens, and maybe Deontay's on his way out after the draft. But we'll see what happens. I'm okay. I mean, I want Pittsburgh to take a tackle, a D lineman, or a middle linebacker, or even a corner. So I'm excited to see what they do. It's going to be interesting, definitely, because I think there's going to be a lot of trades this year.
As one of the big uglies who played the position, do you get excited when you hear the Steelers taking an offensive lineman and defensive lineman instead of quarterbacks?
I always want to hear a skilled position go, but whenever we get a lineman, I'm like, all right, cool, we can protect Kenny. But the last 2 years, we kind of knew what Steelers were going to do, running back, quarterback. So I'm excited.
This is going to be good. To watch this. Now, I'm not as excited for this draft as I probably should be, but that mostly is because my Pittsburgh Pirates are playing baseball on fire right now, and they just signed the richest contract in Pittsburgh Pirates history today with Brian Reynolds. So I feel like I'm living in some kind of weird dream that all this is happening in sports, and the Pirates are spending money and the Pirates are winning, and the Steelers are drafting in the, potentially in the top 10 again. This is a weird, like, psychoschematic dream that I'm living. It's like in reverse order. So some bizarro world, if you will, if you're any Superman fans out there. Here we go. Scott Restar. Steelers are a sleeper this year. You believe that?
Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of young talent. I mean, we lost a good cornerback in Cam Sutton, but I think Pittsburgh can make a playoff run. But also, have you seen the AFC?
Yeah.
It's completely loaded.
Well, absolutely.
The Jets are going to be.
Oh, stop it. Aaron Rodgers is the ultimate difference maker for the Jets?
Yes. They were 7-2 with Zach Wilson. With Aaron Rodgers, he's only 1 year away from his two-time MVP run.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to throw 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. 3,500, 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, 35 touchdowns.
Got some weapons.
And he's Garrett Wilson, they brought Allen Lazard over. I think they're a contender in the AFC to run with the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs are always going to be good.
The Chiefs are one injury away from being bad. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, you're right. But so are a lot of teams. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I guess New York's in that boat too, right?
If your franchise quarterback goes down, most teams are one injury away put it that way. I mean, if Jalen Hurts, I mean, is Gardner Minshew going to lead them to the Super Bowl?
Of course he is.
Okay.
He's
Well,
Gardner Minshew.
He's not even on the field. He's with Indianapolis.
All comes down to Pickett managing the game. He doesn't have to be special, just protect the ball. And that is a perfect representation of why a quarterback, while it does matter, if your defense is there, your special teams is solid, and you're able to move the ball down the field and just manage the game. That's why the Baltimore Ravens won their Super Bowl championship. They had Trent Dilfer. They didn't have Lamar Jackson at that point. It's going to be, and I still think this might be the biggest blockbuster bonanza ever in the next 24 to 48 hours, because I still think Lamar Jackson's probably going to end up traded now that Aaron Rodgers, the chip has moved.
Where do you think he's going to go?
I think we talk about this on the way to Myrtle. I think he's going to end up in Las Vegas. I don't know why. It just feels like a good spot for him. He looks like a Raider. He looks like that typical Raider kind of quarterback. The difference is anywhere he goes, they're going to have to change their entire schematics to have him, because he's not like any other quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. So the top 4 quarterbacks: Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think could be the biggest bust, and who do you think has the highest ceiling? Right?
Stroud would be the biggest bust.
Really?
I do think that. Call me crazy. I'm not an Ohio State fan since the Jim Tressel era, and what they did to him. But I think Stroud could be the biggest bust. I don't think he did anything at Ohio State. Call me crazy, but he didn't bring any natties back to Columbus. And that was one of the most hyped teams I've ever seen in my life. Levis, I think, has the biggest upside.
Really?
I do. I think it's a big arm quarterback, and it's a big arm quarterback's league. So I think that he's got, possibly the potential. He could slide down the board to, and this is the game, right? The game for me is these guys that end up in, picks, let's say 15. I was going to say 17, but I think people would call me out for that. Picks 15 through 32. They're going to end up in the better half of the teams in the NFL, and they'll probably have the biggest impact faster because they have the better teams around them. Whereas teams 1 through 14, they're rebuilding, and there's a lot of pressure there. And sometimes these quarterbacks especially aren't able to mature the way they need to mature because of the speed of the game, that they kind of bottom out really fast.
Yeah.
Really fast. So, the one quarterback that I ultimately wish and hope that the Steelers take a look at, in the later rounds, maybe 3rd, 4th round, is the kid from Georgia.
Stenson Bennett?
Yep.
Does he have an assault charge on him?
I'm asking him to be my quarterback, not date my sister. So no, I'm going after a quarterback, the guy that they want from Georgia, the other guy they want from Georgia has some kind of charges up against him too, but he's a D lineman, right?
Yeah.
So why are we letting D linemen get away with it, not quarterbacks? So Bennett's 38 anyway. So
Kenny Pickett was 24.
Hey, I'll gladly take the retirement fund for those guys if they can win us a couple Super Bowls or just manage the game. I like that Bennett kid, man. I really do. I think that there's something there. There's a dog in him that listen, they drafted Baker. I shouldn't say they drafted. Baker Mayfield was drafted, and I still like him, from a standpoint. I think he's a winner. He just needs to find the right space. I don't think Tampa Bay is the right spot for him, but I think the Rams are going to wish they had him at some point this year.
Mm-hmm. I don't see how much longer Matthew Stafford has. You know what I mean? He's old.
He's doing pizza commercials. So, I don't know. I mean, the whole thing's going to be interesting. I can see the Steelers. Like, I don't think Mitch Trubisky is the answer. I would love for them to save the $8 million or whatever it is that he's getting this year and draft a Stetson Bennett and be okay with him just sitting on the sidelines, because I think he's very similar to Kenny Pickett. You know, like you can have 1A. Trubisky is just Garbino. Like he's like, I'm sorry. That's who he is. He stinks. I didn't like him since, you know, he was drafted. He just wasn't good. And Mike Tomlin's always had this real weird relationship that he wanted Mitch Trubisky the entire time. And I don't understand it. But yeah, the Steelers, I think, go defense heavy. They need some defensive back help. Who do you think? All right, let's put your hat on, your thinking hat on, not your YSN hat, your thinking hat. Who legitimately, if you had to put Skittles down on it, who do you think that the Steelers are taking at 17? If they indeed pick at 17.
That if he's there, the tackle from Ohio State,
Paris Campbell.
Yeah. If he's there, I don't see him there. I want them to take him as like if he's there, or the Northwestern kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're gone, and then the next kid, I think he'll definitely be gone, the Oregon cornerback, and then Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, I think Joey Porter Jr. is the guy. Not that I want him to be the guy. Like, I would love for them to take Paris Campbell because I think he allowed 1 sack his entire tenure at Ohio State, which is, as you know, is incredible and somebody I would love to have in the locker room and on the front lines. But the Joey Porter Jr. thing, there's just too many.
It's a Pittsburgh Steelers pick.
It's such a Pittsburgh Steelers pick. You're right. It's such a Steelers pick. And I hate it. Like, I don't like it. He's very handsy, and every different mock that I find, he's probably better as a safety, you know, because he's going to get burnt and he's going to get flags all over him in defensive pass interference. But you're right. It's such a Steeler pick.
I listened to Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan's press conference the other day, and they're thinking this just may be my weirdness, but they brought Patrick Peterson in, a veteran quarterback. They brought Allen Robinson, a veteran wide receiver. Could they be thinking wide receiver, cornerback with that first round pick? You know, maybe trading up and Deontay being gone. Like, they could trade away Deontay.
You really want to get rid of Deontay?
Yeah, I was big on him, and then he drops a lot. He's very inconsistent. I mean, he didn't score a touchdown last year, and with being a wide receiver 1 and scoring no touchdowns, I just don't think that's the best. I think George Pickens should be our number 1 wide receiver, but I really think they need to really look away from Deontay Johnson and maybe draft a receiver.
What do you think about
having that veteran cornerback and drafting a cornerback?
What do you think about Budda Baker traded for the 32?
I think that's not enough as an Arizona. How old is he?
Oh, I don't know.
He's got to be touching 30.
Oh, yeah.
Just the 32?
Yeah, just straight up.
I wouldn't think it's a bad idea, but
I mean, it's basically a first-round draft pick.
Him and Minka both in the back.
Well, I'm just saying, Budda wants out, you know, so maybe a Deontay for Budda or the 32 for Budda. I mean, whatever you can get if you're the Steelers, get it, right?
I saw some crazy kid talking about a 3rd-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins.
That was you.
I watched a YouTube video, and I told you I watched a YouTube video.
You brought that up on the way home or on the way down to Myrtle, and I thought you were crazy.
Because I watched a YouTube video.
You're insane.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
There's no way.
No way it'll happen. A 3rd-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins?
No, not going to happen. It is the time of day and of the show that we have to do our annual and I guess daily bill paying to our friends over at Joe Dickey Electric. It's time for the Joe Dickey Electric Spark, brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, industrial, anything electrical, head on over DickeyElectric.com. Joe Dickey Electric, what's your spark today? My spark is Fur making his really first time as a co-host of the Power Hour, something that will be happening hopefully daily in the fall, in this summer. So thank you, man. It was such an awesome day to have you on, have Braden on and talk some wrestling, which, after the season pretty much doesn't get talked about until probably the beginning of next season. So there's one feather in our cap today. What about you? What's your spark there, Fur?
So my spark is Sunday. Speaking of Joe Dickey, Mr. Dickey, me and a few of the seniors and Coach Yegley, we gave him a state championship ring.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was playing bingo, and Mr. Farron was there, and it was me, Shane, Caleb, and JD. We gave him his a state championship ring.
That is cool. What was the reaction like for Mr. Dickey?
He was very surprised. He had no idea. Just very thankful. He helped us pay for the charter buses, and he's a very big supporter of South Range, and we love him to death. And he was just very thankful and happy.
That's awesome, man. That, my friend, is a perfect Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Visit them today, dickieelectric.com. That's going to put a wrap and a bow on our show, my friend. Honored being able to share the mic with you today. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for setting everything up, Braden.
Of course.
And we will work to get you on as much as humanly possible. You have a game today?
No. There is one, but I'm not calling it. Oh man. No. Friday.
What do I hire you for?
My jokes.
There it is. Your devilish good looks with your backwards hat on. There you go. And you're a PR machine, my friend. That's gonna do it for the show. For Colucci, thank you so much for taking part.
Thank you for having me, and I look to the future of YSN wrestling.
You're a goof, man. We will see you tomorrow. We'll be live from Valley Christian's brand new state-of-the-art facilities, showing that off a little bit. We'll have hopefully Dolph Carroll on. Maybe we'll get some of the Eagles, but we'll definitely have the General, Andrew Hake, join us on the Power Hour. For Chris Colucci, my name is DJ. That is going to do it for our show today. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on the Power Hour, presented by Toyota of War. YSN thanks you for